Welcome everyone. It's a beautiful day for a presentation of this U.S. Department of Transportation highly competitive transportation investment generating economic recovery, a Tiger grant, for $7.57 million to Carson City for our South Carson Street Complete Streets project. This project leverages $10 million in local funding previously invested to this downtown project that you see here today. It extends our downtown improvements 2.5 miles south from 5th Street to the US 395, US 50, I-580 interchange. The project components include improved business access, a multi-use path, dedicated bicycle facilities, safety improvements, new lighting fixtures, new traffic signals, gray and green stormwater infrastructure, landscaping and civic art, and fiber optic communications that will complete our city's core communications ring, among other improvements. And that's just on paper. Practically, this project represents something bigger. It represents a community vision. A community vision that in 2014 said, we can self-fund our infrastructure improvements here in Carson City through an 8-cent sales tax increase. A community vision that in 2016 and throughout 2017, at stakeholder meetings and conversations with our residents and business owners, said, we can reimagine how this corridor looks and feels and functions, and we can reinvent the gateway to Carson City, Nevada's state capital. A community vision that through construction of this project, we would improve quality of life, enhance our regional economic competitiveness, improve safety, and improve our infrastructure state of good repair through innovation and partnerships. And these are core tenets of the Tiger program. And staff said, I think we can win this. And with senior management support and support of our local electeds, we put together a Tiger grant application with confidence that what we're doing here in Carson City can stand shoulder to shoulder with any transportation infrastructure project in the country. So today we celebrate that community vision. And we celebrate and recognize all of you who have helped shape that vision from its inception. It is a very proud day for Carson City, and I am deeply honored to be fortunate to introduce our distinguished speakers here today. Our first speaker, Mayor Bob Kroll, is a native Nevadan, born in the mining town of Tonopah and raised in Carson City. An attorney by profession, he is a Vietnam veteran and retired Navy captain. Bob was elected and assumed his duties as mayor in January of 2009, where he is currently serving his third and final term. Prior to being elected mayor, Bob served 11 years on the Carson City School Board of Trustees, where he twice served as school board president. Bob earned his undergraduate degree from economics from Stanford University and his Doctor of Jurisprudence degree from Hastings College of Law. He was admitted to the State Bar of Nevada in 1973. He is a member of the Bar Register of Preeminent Lawyers and is on the list of best lawyers in America in the fields of government relations and energy law. He is admitted to practice before the U.S. Supreme Court. Active in his community, Bob has served on the board of directors and is past president of the Carson Area Chamber of Commerce. Active in his state, he's president of the State Bar of Nevada, having served on its board of governors for 7 years. Bob has also served as both a member and a past chairman of the Colorado River Commission. Bob is a life member of the Vietnam Veterans of America and a member of that organization's local chapter 388. He was honored to be selected to be part of the first in the country honor flight for Vietnam veterans by Honor Flight Nevada, as well as a member of the Sons of American Revolution, VFW, American Legion, and the Carson City Council of the Navy League, where he has served as charter president. His past awards include a State Bar of Nevada Presidential Award recognizing a member whose conduct, honesty, and integrity represent the highest standards of the legal profession. He was also presented with a 2015 DeBoer Award for distinguished leadership by an elected office from the Nevada chapter of the American Planning Association, for his role in Carson City's downtown project that you see here today. Mayor Bob is married to his wife of 47 years, Susan, and they have 4 children and 2 grandchildren. Mr. Mayor, we wouldn't be here today without your leadership and support.
So Lucia is a proud mother of her 2nd child, right? All right, yeah. Well, Madam Secretary, Senator Heller, my fellow Carsonites, let me say that not only is today a great day for Carson City, it's a wonderful day for Carson City. As we stand in front of Nevada's Capitol, we are reminded of the history of our community and our place in Nevada's history. We can look across the street and see a water fountain, particularly designed to serve horses on the upper level and small animals on the lower level. Behind us stands the great capital of the state of Nevada with its prominent silver dome. And in between, we see a redesigned, modern urban thoroughfare that was once a 4-lane highway known as Highway 395, designed to move people through our city, which also created an unhealthy barrier for our community between the east and west sides of Carson City. I'm extremely proud of the new complete street before you today that focuses on strengthening our community by bringing people to our city, be it in a car or bus, on a bike or foot, and creating a pedestrian and commerce-friendly downtown that represents all that the future has for Carson City. Taken together, we see a mixture of the old and the new, completed in such a manner to highlight both, but with the amenities of wide landscape sidewalks, flower planters, and stone crosswalks. And just as Carson City is the state's capital, so also is it the face of Nevada, a state rich in history in its own right, a state that embodies the high-tech economy of the 21st century, as well as its rugged Western individualism. With this grant from the Department of Transportation, we will be able to continue this theme south from 5th Street, right down here, to the I-580 interchange, creating a spectacular and inviting gateway to our community. An inviting gateway for travelers, visitors, businesses, and locals alike. A gateway that is accessible to all. A gateway linking the past with the future. A gateway reflecting the pride we collectively share in the community and state we call home. All this we will now be able to do in a first-class manner with the assistance provided by the United States Department of Transportation through its Transportation Grant Program. Madam Secretary, Secretary Chao, let me say, as mayor of this great city and on behalf of our community, let me express our heartfelt appreciation to you and to your department for providing Nevada's capital city with the ability to move forward on this exciting and necessary project. I mean it when I say we couldn't do it without you. Let me also thank our congressional delegation led by our own Senator Dean Heller for their able support of this project. Dean grew up in his community and has always been a strong supporter of not only Nevada, but his hometown as well. And speaking of local boys, we have another one, I don't know if he's here today, Congressman Amodei. Let me say thank you also to you, Congressman, for your support, and thank you for being my neighbor. And Secretary Chao, if you want to know the stories of Congressman Amodei and Senator Heller when they were growing up, just ask me, because I know them. But let me tell you, they're all cute and they're all good stories. They're all good stories. Let me also say thank you to Governor Sandoval and the Nevada Department of Transportation. I see Rudy Malfabon here for your support in helping us put this application together. You guys have just been wonderful for us, and you just did a tremendous job. Let me also thank our city staff, our Regional Transportation Commission, Lucia Mahoney, our transportation manager, her right-hand man, Dirk Goering, both of who were instrumental in putting this application together. Let me say also in concluding to each and every one of our fellow Carsonites and to all of you, and there were many, and I mean many, who helped put this grant together so that it would be successful. Let me just say, to each and every one of you, and to you folks back here, to Senator Heller and to Secretary Chao, you make us all proud of this great city we live in and this great state we all call home. Thank you very much.
The son of an auto mechanic and a school cook, Senator Dean Heller grew up in Carson City with 5 brothers and sisters. He began working in his father's auto shop in middle school, where he learned the importance of hard work, dedication, discipline, and commitment, Western values that continue to guide him today. Dean was sworn into the United States Senate on May 9, 2011. Prior to his service in the Senate, Dean was the representative for Nevada's 2nd Congressional District and also served as Nevada's Secretary of State and in the Nevada State Assembly representing Carson City. He received his bachelor's degree in business from the University of Southern California and worked as a stockbroker and as a broker-trader on the Pacific Stock Exchange before moving back to Carson City. Dean serves on the Committee on Finance, Banking, Veterans Affairs, and the Commerce Committee. These committees allow him to address the housing crisis, stand up for more than 300,000 veterans living in Nevada, and ensure that Nevada's transportation needs are met. He also works to advance policies that facilitate additional tourism in Nevada to boost the state's economy. Dean and his wife Lynn have been married for more than 30 years and currently reside in Smith Valley. They have 4 children and are proud grandparents of 2 grandchildren. The Hellers enjoy camping, hunting, and horsepacking in the Sierras and on the Nevada trails. Please let me introduce Senator Dean Heller.
Well, I certainly do appreciate the comments of the mayor. He knows as well as I do that what happens at Carson High School stays at Carson High School. Thank goodness for both of us, or for that matter, all 3 of us. But Mayor, thank you for your comments, and I certainly do appreciate the fact that we're here today and that we can close Main Street here for the Secretary. And we're so pleased to have you here with us today. It really is a pleasure, and to be able to make this announcement and to have this appreciation for what you do and what you do for the state of Nevada. You know, there's a lot of people that deserve accolades and recognition for the work that they did for us to be here today. Without a doubt, the mayor and the board of supervisors that's with us today. This downtown corridor is incredible, and we've seen a lot of changes, and the mayor and I were talking about all the changes we've seen over the years. But nothing has improved, I don't believe, this city and this town the way that we have seen in the last 4 or 5 years. And this board of supervisors, but it's also previous board of supervisors also. Going back to Mayor Tech's era and his idea of bringing that freeway around the city. Took years and years and years to get where we are today, but look where we are today. And I am proud to call this home, proud to call Carson City my hometown. Great to be part of this capital, this complex, and to see it grow and mature the way it has over the years. So I thank everybody who participated, but I do believe that I should recognize those that did participate. So with the mayor and the board of supervisors, I also want to make sure that Governor Sandoval, Nevada Department of Transportation, the Carson City Regional Transportation Commission, all worked very hard to secure this competitive Tiger grant. But there are other entities also, and I think they ought to be recognized. The Washoe Tribe of Nevada and California, Carson City Chamber of Commerce, Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, Muscle Powered, and the Carson City Visitors Bureau. They all threw their support behind this application, and I'm grateful for that, or we wouldn't be here today. So thank you to all of you. And for everybody that is here today, I certainly do appreciate your hard work and effort so that we can enjoy today. I will say this much, no state has benefited. No state has benefited more from the tax cuts and the Jobs Act of the end of last year. Secretary understands this and realizes this, but we have been the fastest growing state since the early 2000s. Actually, I take it back into the 90s, and we've seen the state as the #1 growing state in the nation. And we continue to do so. This state is also, statistically, last year, the #1 job creator in the nation. State of Nevada is. With that comes a lot of transportation needs, as you can imagine. So we're very, very fortunate to have Secretary Chao with us. She has been a champion for the state of Nevada and certainly a champion for Carson City. And I'd like to take a lot of credit for that, but I don't think I can. Who can, though, is my wife, Lynn, who's with us here today. The relationship that she has with Secretary Chao is second to none, and I'm certainly appreciative of the relationship that the two of them have together. So anyway, we can add that to the list. How's that? To people that have worked hard. But I'm grateful to be here, and the transportation needs that we have in this state are huge, and we're starting this process moving forward. We passed the omnibus a couple of weeks ago that included some of the Secretary's priorities in helping states like Nevada that has seen this kind of growth, and we're going to continue to do so. That omnibus that sometimes gets criticized does help veterans here in the state of Nevada. We have 300,000 veterans in Nevada, and it helped meet some of their priorities. It fully funded our military for the first time since the Reagan administration. Fully funded our military for the next 2 years, which I believe is critically important for everybody here and across this country in order to keep you safe. So there's a lot of things going on back in Washington, D.C., but today it's all about Carson City and getting this street completed, get it done. I'd like to say that I can make an announcement that the Vice President of the United States wants to be in the next Nevada Day Parade.
Yeah, he should be here.
He has actually committed to me that he's interested in doing that. Now, interested means about 50-50 chance. Yeah, you understand that. If the vice president, but he wants to get on the back of a horse with me, with Lynn, and go down the parade route at the next Nevada Day Parade. So let's finish this and get this done just in behalf of the vice president so that when he does come down, he can see how glorious this city is. I'm grateful to be here. I'm also grateful to be a part of what Secretary Chao has allowed us to do. But let me finish by sharing you with this. We have, I want to mention a couple of other pieces of good news for the state of Nevada while we're here. The Carson City Area Metropolitan Planning Organization will receive an additional $447,480 in funding to replace two buses in the Jump Around Carson fleet that have exceeded their useful life. Thank you, Secretary Chao. Also, the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe will receive $1.5 million in grant funding through the Bus and Bus Facilities Competitive Program for a new facility. Thank you, Secretary Chao. And finally, the Southern Nevada RTC will receive $4.5 million in grant funding for construction and improvement of bus shelters in Las Vegas. Again, Secretary Chao, thank you. So I've said enough. I just want to thank the Secretary for being here. She's a real champion for Nevada. She's a real champion for Carson City. And with that, I will let her be introduced, and I look forward to your remarks. Thank you.
Our next and final speaker needs no introduction. The U.S. Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao became only the third woman in U.S. history to be named to 2 cabinet posts when she was named to head the Department of Transportation. She served as U.S. Secretary of Labor from 2001 to January 2009, and she became the first Asian American woman in American history to be appointed to the President's Cabinet. Secretary Chao has a distinguished career in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. An immigrant who arrived in America at the age of 8 speaking no English, she has devoted most of her professional life to ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to build better lives for themselves and their families. As U.S. Secretary of Transportation, she has set her priorities on safety, infrastructure, and preparing for the future by preserving innovation. As Secretary of Labor, she focused on increasing the competitiveness of America's workforce and promoted job creation, and achieved record results doing so. Previously, Secretary Chao served as President and Chief Executive Officer of the United Way of America and Director of the Peace Corps. She earned her MBA from the Harvard Business School and an economics degree from Mount Holyoke College. It is my honor to introduce U.S. Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao.
Thank you so much, Lucia. That was very nice. And Mr. Mayor, thank you. I also want to thank, of course, Senator Dean Heller and his wife, Lynn, for joining us today. You know, as a member of the Senate Commerce Committee, Senator Heller has a very strong voice in infrastructure and transportation investment. And so for all of us who come before his committee, we listen. I am so excited to be here in Carson City because I've read the whole history of Carson City. As a young girl, I read about the West, and I can't believe that I am in Carson City. Like, I'm so excited. And so it's Lynn and the senator who actually told me a lot about your state because they are wonderful advocates for Nevada. And my husband and I are good friends of theirs, and we treasure our friendship with them. And you know, have you ever seen these people that when you get to know them better, whenever you see them like across the street, like there's one thought that crosses your mind? Well, it's the Hellers. Whenever I see Lynn, whenever I see Senator Heller, I think Nevada, Nevada, Nevada. And what can I do about this? What can I do about that for Nevada? So I want to credit Lynn and Senator Heller for teaching us so much about your state, the people in the state, the wonderful people in the state, the beautiful scenery, landscape, and please know that Senator Heller and his beautiful wife Lynn are great advocates for your state, and they never forget who they're representing. And I think they deserve a great round of applause. Congressman Mark Amodei, I want to mention him as well, though he's not here today. And I want to also mention once again the mayor. Mr. Mayor, we want to thank you for organizing today's wonderful event. And I've never had Main Street closed down. So thank you. I understand that the Secretary of State, Barbara Zagaski, is here. And I'm always glad to see when there's a Department of Transportation, State Department of Transportation Representative Rudy. It's great to see you. Of course, the county commissioners is what you call them in your state. So thank you also for being here. We appreciate your presence. And of course, we've got Kurt Engelhardt here as well, who's on the staff of Senator Cortez Masto. I think what this all shows is that your community, your state, is united. And that is very important when we have these transportation infrastructure projects. Today is a very special day because, as you have heard, we're here in front of Nevada State Capitol to celebrate the $7.5 million grant to complete the South Carson Street project. This planned improvement will rebuild this corridor to enhance pedestrian and bicycle facilities, and it's going to connect residents and tourists to the newly renovated downtown area. And when complete, this project will make it so much easier to access job opportunities and businesses located around this route as well. It's going to help strengthen and grow the local economy. Projects like this are fundamental to the well-being of this community by expanding transportation options that make it easier and safer to get around. You have heard that this is very competitive. So we received well over 452 applications, and only 41 were chosen. Your project stood out because of 4 things. 1, it aligned with the Department of Transportation's commitment to enhancing safety. Safety is always number 1. 2, this project will improve the quality of life for Carson City residents, especially those living and working in the area. Number 3, I was really excited to note that it promotes innovation through the installation of fiber optic lines that will enhance and advance connectivity throughout the whole city. And at last, the project shows the commitment of local officials, all of you who are here today, who are proposing to bring your fair share to the table. And as you know, this administration has made infrastructure investment a top priority. It's a foundation of economic growth, competitiveness, and job creation. And the president's goal is to stimulate at least $1.5 trillion in infrastructure spending, which includes a minimum of $200 billion in direct federal funding. And the guiding principles for us are 1, to use federal dollars as seed money to incentivize infrastructure investment. 2, provide for the needs of rural America. 3, streamline permitting to speed up project delivery. And 4, reduce unnecessary and overly burdensome regulations. In addition, a key element of the proposal is to empower decision-making at the state and local levels, because we believe that officials like you know best the infrastructure needs of your own communities. Half of the new infrastructure funds would go toward incentivizing new state and local investments in infrastructure, and 1/4 of the federal funds will be dedicated to addressing rural needs as prioritized by, once again, state and local leaders. And as a former Secretary of Labor, I'm just really pleased to note that this plan has a workforce component to help workers access the skills necessary to build these new projects. So this project here demonstrates the importance of cooperation between the federal, state, and local governments. And local governments is a natural partner in infrastructure. Counties own and maintain 46% of the nation's public roads, 38% of its bridges, and more than 1/3 of the public airports. Local and state governments also absorb about 78% of the funding of public transit systems. So our role is to ensure that the local and state governments have your priorities and that you are working on projects that you're interested in, not projects that we think you should be interested in. So the department's role is to be your partner, because we believe, once again, that you know best what your communities need. Before I close, I also do want to reinforce and reiterate the bus and bus facilities grant that Senator Heller announced today. This grant from the Federal Transit Administration will help to replace worn-out buses with newer and more efficient buses, and the money is being awarded to 3 projects throughout the state and will also be used to build new bus shelters, upgrade passenger facilities, and construct new support facilities to keep buses running reliably and safely. And these upgrades are so important because, as Senator Heller mentioned, Nevada is the fastest growing state in our nation, and bus service and good transit systems, good transportation systems is essential to keeping all of us, all of you, moving. So look for more information on the new Federal Transit Administration's bus and bus facilities grants, which will be released now that Senator Heller has announced it today. So let me once again, no, he was supposed to. No, we wanted him to. So I'm saying now that Senator Heller has announced it, we can release the details. So let me once again congratulate Carson City and Nevada officials for receiving this grant here in Carson City and the Federal Transit Administration's bus and bus facilities grant as well. We want to thank once again Senator Heller for his tremendous support on the Senate Commerce Committee in investments, in infrastructure. As I mentioned, you've got a very powerful senator who cares deeply and is a tremendous advocate for your state. So the Department of Transportation looks forward to working with you and Mayor Chao on the South Carson Street project, which will improve the quality of life and give the people of Carson City more transportation choices, and all the other local officials who are here as well. Once again, your unity and your enthusiasm for this project has been really, really inspiring. Thanks so much.
Thank you all for being here today. We invite you to join us for refreshments in the lawn behind me, and our speakers will be available for the press right here.